Hi guys. I want to share a book with you that I've known for quite some time, and I think it's going to be a very relevant book this year, especially when we come back to school and actually being here in person in the building. And I think you can guess why when I read the title. It's called Harrison P. Spader, Personal Space Invader. I hope you enjoy. It's kind of a silly book. All right, so follow along with me. Harrison P. Spader, Personal Space Invader, written by Christian Jones and pictures by Cale Atkinson. Harrison P. Spader loved life and wanted to share his love with everyone. He looks pretty happy, doesn't he? That's him. However, Harrison's overly joyful ways were causing problems. When Harrison was little, it wasn't a big deal, but the problem grew every year. He's getting a little bit close, isn't he? Mr. Rabbit doesn't seem too happy about that. He sat a little too close, shook hands a little too long. He high-fived a little bit too hard and hugged a little too much. And Harrison definitely did not know the definition of a close talker. Look at all those germs spreading right in his face, huh? You know what? This picture looks familiar. That's the same one, isn't it? Oops. Harrison P. Spader was a personal space invader. There was that time when Harrison played center field. Kind of. And the other time when he went swimming with his friends. And who could forget the bus ride to the zoo or story time at the library? I bet we might know some friends who have been like that before. His family was used to being smothered in love. They were just that type of family. But after calls from his teachers, coaches, and other parents, Harrison's dad knew he had to have a talk with Harrison. They didn't look too happy. Harrison, I hear you're having trouble staying in your own space, his dad said. Not really. I don't need much space, Harrison replied. But other people need their space, his dad reasoned. So Harrison's feeling like there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He doesn't need a lot of space, but his dad's trying to get him to recognize other people do. And we're all going to need it this year. When I was your age, my mom taught me something called the space saver, his dad said. It's really simple. Arms out front, then arms out real wide. Now place your arms back at your side. If you can do the space saver without touching anyone, you've left a good amount of space, his dad told him. Harrison and his dad practiced the space saver over and over and over. Kind of silly practicing in the bathtub. By the end of the night, the entire family was doing it. The next day, Harrison called the space saver every chance he could. He loved it. Harrison even used it when he didn't need to, which he thought was extra clever. Look at everyone's faces. They kind of seemed confused, don't they? However, his teacher and his friends weren't as impressed. After another phone call to Harrison's dad, let me read that again. I made a mistake. After another phone call, Harrison's dad had a few reminders about personal space. I know you like the space saver, but sometimes it might be too crowded for it. Then just put your arms down, be still, and try to stay in your own space, his dad said. Got it, Dad, replied Harrison. And Harrison really did get it this time. On the bus ride to school the next day, Harrison wanted to squish in a seat with two of his friends. But Harrison found himself a seat with some space instead. And that was just the beginning. At his next baseball game, Harrison really did play center field. When he went swimming with his friends, he brought his own tube. And during story time, he actually sat on his own mat and didn't move it closer to anyone. This took extra restraint for Harrison, but he did it. I love how they all have their separate space. Harrison didn't get it right all the time. After all, nobody's perfect. And leaving personal space can be tricky, especially when you love as much as Harrison does. He sure does love his friends, doesn't he? And his teacher, and his dad. But Harrison got it right most of the time, and that was a relief to everyone. All right, my friends, I hope that serves as a good reminder, especially when we're back in school this year. We got to make sure we're maintaining, a good safe distance from our friends. And I know sometimes we want to run up, we want to give hugs, we want to give high fives, but we're going to have to think of alternative ways to do that this year, okay? Think about the space rule and how he kept himself away from each other and away from his friends, so we're not spreading germs and we're being safe. All right, I hope you enjoyed our book with Mr. Harrison P. Spader, the Personal Space Invader.